Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film, A Screaming Man. This film is about a guy named Adam, who's the pool assistant at a very posh, rich hotel in Chad, which is the dead heart of Africa. He's been working there for about 30 years. Before he worked there, he was a swimming champion. Adam works there with his son, so there's two pool assistants. He supervises his son. However, when the hotel is privatized, and then they move him to be the gatekeeper and have his son just be the pool attendant, that causes a lot of friction in their relationship, and his son doesn't really know even how to tell him. So then he's put in a really awkward position where he's just sitting, moving the gate up and down to let cars in and everything. Kind of really humiliating from being the pool guy. Before, he has been so comfortable in this hotel job. He hasn't had to deal with reality, really. He's had a steady job, and he's very comfortable in his job. And I think this film really explores how much of your identity is worked into your job, especially if you've had your job for a long time, and how that's such a part of your life. And having that change is really kind of shocking and scary and frightening, sometimes demeaning, especially in Adam's case when the Civil War hits Chad and he's still going into work when no one else is, and his son is drafted. He's really kind of forced to be involved in the outside world, not just be in this little small world that he's been in for all this time. Obviously, this film wasn't made on a huge budget. It definitely shows. I don't think it's really that well made, and some of the casting I find problematic. I mean, they look fine. It's just that they aren't really the best actors in the world sometimes. And I think that kind of hurts the film. It's like a cliche art movie at times. It took me out of it. There are whole scenes that are kind of so badly written and badly acted that I'm like, whoa. But overall, I really like the spirit of this film. It reminds me of Akiru. It also reminds me of The Last Laugh by Murnau. And even a little bit the beginning of Homme. It is well shot. A film with this kind of production really shouldn't be as well shot as this is, but I think that's kind of elevates it a little and gives it a unique atmosphere to it. Some of the shots in this are really meaningful and beautiful, and then others almost feel a little too cliched. So it's kind of an interesting mix between what you'd expect from kind of a small budgeted foreign introspective movie and also like interesting shots. I definitely enjoy it. I guess it's not like an amazing movie or anything, but I think it's one of the better films I've seen this year. I wouldn't maybe even put it on a top 5 really, but I still think it's a really good movie. It's definitely a moral lesson kind of movie. It's not so preachy. I guess it is a little preachy, but it didn't bother me. Sometimes it's not so bad to have a little preachiness in your movies. I think it's nice sometimes to see kind of introspective character films, and that's really what this is, just a small little art character piece just centered around this one character, Adam, a regular pool attendant at a hotel. And I like kind of its minimalist vibe. I mean, it's not as extremely minimalist as Kelly Reichardt is. To see a Civil War in Chad through the perspective of a pool attendant is definitely an interesting idea. And I think it speaks to this film's strengths, that much like a film like Grave of the Fireflies, it takes war and gives it a very personal viewpoint. This is very intimate, very personal, and it's really from his perspective. There's very few scenes where you're not either seeing it from his point of view or he's in the shot. This film is just like the dangers of being uninvolved and how it can just suddenly creep up on you without you noticing. Alright, so if you have seen A Screaming Man and you would like to talk about it, then comment below down there in the comments, and subscribe if you would like to.